Many people over 40 think that waking up exhausted, accumulating stubborn belly fat, or having a racing mind at night are just normal parts of getting older. They blame their mattress, their age. They buy expensive sleep supplements. But they completely miss the chemical switch that is locked in the on position inside their brain. Cortisol gets a bad reputation, but it is not inherently bad. It is your built-in alarm clock. In a healthy body, cortisol peaks in the morning to get you out of bed, make you alert, and give you energy for the day. Then, like a setting sun, it is supposed to slowly drop throughout the afternoon and hit rock bottom at night. When cortisol drops, your sleep hormone, melatonin, takes over. But modern life has completely reversed this natural rhythm. When your cortisol stays high at night, your brain literally thinks there is an emergency. Think of cortisol as your body's fire alarm. It is highly effective if you need to run away from danger, but it is completely destructive when you are trying to rest. If the fire alarm is blaring in your house, you are not going to fall into a deep, restorative sleep. The good news is that you can physically flip this switch back off. You do not need to be a victim of a racing mind or exhausted mornings. By changing a few specific inputs before bed, you can manually lower your cortisol fast. Let's look at the 3 science-backed nighttime habits that will quiet your cortisol, completely transform your sleep, and help your body repair itself. The first habit involves fixing the light trap. Right behind your eyes, sitting inside your brain, is a tiny cluster of cells. You can think of this as your body's master clock. This clock only understands one language: light. For all of human history, when the sun went down, our environment became dark. That darkness signaled the master clock to drop cortisol and release melatonin. Today, we blast our eyes with artificial blue light from televisions, smartphones, and bright LED living room lights right up until the minute our head hits the pillow. Your conscious mind knows it is 10:30 p.m., but your master clock thinks it is high noon. Clinical researchers conducted a fascinating study comparing 2 groups of people before bed. One group read from a light-emitting tablet for a few hours before sleep, while the other group read from a printed paper book under dim light. The results were staggering. The group looking at the screen had a massive delay in their melatonin production. More importantly, their cortisol levels stayed artificially elevated, and their circadian rhythm physically shifted. They were actively suppressing their body's ability to power down. When you look at bright screens at night, you are essentially staring into the midday sun and asking your brain to go to sleep. It does not work. To fix this, you need to create a digital sunset. 2 hours before you plan to sleep, start aggressively controlling your light environment. Turn off the overhead lights in your house and switch to warm, low-level lamps. If you absolutely must look at a screen, use blue light blocking glasses or turn the screen to a warm amber tint. By simply dimming your environment, you send a powerful biological safety signal to your brain. The master clock registers the darkness, the emergency alarm turns off, and cortisol naturally plummets. The second habit to quiet cortisol is stopping the late-night blood sugar roller coaster. A massive trigger for high nighttime cortisol is what you put in your stomach in the hours before bed. When you eat a heavy meal, or worse, when you snack on carbohydrates and starchy foods late at night, your blood sugar spikes. To bring that blood sugar down, your pancreas releases insulin. But because you are going to sleep and not burning energy, that insulin often causes your blood sugar to crash rapidly in the middle of the night. Here is what happens inside your body when your blood sugar crashes while you sleep. Your brain perceives it as a life-threatening emergency. If blood sugar drops too low, you die. So, to save your life, your adrenal glands release a massive surge of cortisol and adrenaline to force your liver to release stored glucose back into your blood. This is exactly why you might wake up at 3 a.m. completely wide awake, with your heart beating fast, feeling a strange sense of anxiety. It is not a random sleep disturbance. It is a chemical rescue mission. Your body used a stress hormone to save you from a blood sugar crash. Clinical studies on late-night eating confirm this. Researchers have observed that individuals who consume calories late in the evening have a significantly flatter cortisol curve. Their cortisol stays elevated at night and remains sluggish the next morning. Your body is forced to focus its energy on intense digestion and blood sugar management instead of cellular repair and deep sleep. Think of eating right before bed like throwing heavy logs onto a fire right when you are trying to put it out. The engine is still running at full capacity. To quiet your cortisol, you must establish a strict fasting window before sleep. Stop consuming all calories at least 3 hours before you go to bed. Only drink water or herbal tea. By going to bed with an empty, settled stomach, your blood sugar remains incredibly stable throughout the night. There are no spikes, no crashes, and no emergency cortisol dumps at 3 a.m. Your digestive system rests, and your nervous system shifts deeply into repair mode. The third habit is mastering the mental off-ramp. Your nervous system has 2 main gears. The sympathetic gear is the gas pedal. That is your fight or flight stress response, driven by cortisol. The parasympathetic gear is the brake pedal. That is your rest and digest state. When you lie in bed thinking about the stressful email you received at work, replaying an argument, or worrying about the 6 tasks you have to complete tomorrow, you are slamming your foot on the gas pedal. Psychological stress triggers the exact same cortisol release as physical danger. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a real physical threat and an imaginary stressor you are simply thinking about. Psychologists refer to unfinished tasks as open loops. When a task is unfinished, your brain actively holds on to it, keeping your cognitive engine revving in neutral. You are demanding high alertness from your brain, which requires high cortisol. A brilliant clinical study conducted at Baylor University looked at the effects of writing before bed. They had one group of participants take 5 minutes to write down a detailed to-do list for the next few days, while another group wrote down tasks they had already completed. The researchers found that the group who wrote the future to-do list fell asleep significantly faster. In fact, the amount of time they saved falling asleep was comparable to the effects of clinical sleep medications. Why did this work so well? Because of the physical act of writing. When you take the swirling thoughts, worries, and tomorrow's obligations out of your mind and put them onto a physical piece of paper, you close the open loops. You are biologically signaling to your brain, we have this captured. We do not need to hold on to this information anymore. Do not type this on your phone, because the screen light will trigger the light trap we just talked about. Get a physical pen and a piece of paper, and keep it next to your bed. Before you lie down, do a complete brain dump. Write down the tasks for tomorrow. Write down the problem you are trying to solve. Get it entirely out of your head. Once it is on the paper, your brain gives itself permission to let go. The gas pedal lifts, the brake pedal engages, and cortisol drops. If you apply these 3 habits, creating a digital sunset, stopping food 3 hours before bed, and dumping your thoughts onto paper, you will physically change your brain chemistry. You will turn off the internal alarm system. When you quiet your cortisol, everything changes. You will fall asleep faster, stay asleep through the night, and your body will finally be able to tap into its fat stores for energy while you rest. You will wake up feeling actually refreshed, with clear focus, ready to handle the day with steady energy instead of relying on pots of coffee. I want you to try these 3 habits tonight. Give it a few days for your body to adjust to this new rhythm, and watch how dramatically your sleep and energy transform. I would love to hear how this works for you. Come back to this video in a week and leave a comment down below about how your sleep has changed. Your results might just be the exact motivation someone else needs to take control of their health. Please like if you found this video helpful.